In the fastest way possible, I'm going to instantly show you how to level up your beats. This is coming from a producer who has sold thousands of dollars worth of beats, have songs totaling over 70 million streams, and overall, not to be cocky, I'm pretty good. I mean, the numbers don't lie. So I'm just going to go over the 4 different elements that go into a beat, and then at the end of the video, I'm going to just give some bonus tips. You definitely don't want to miss that. So there's pretty much 4 elements that go into any beat. There's the loop, there's the drums, there's the mixing, and then there's the arrangements. It might sound like there's a lot going on, but there's not that much going on when you break it down. So I'll give you a little breakdown, some different sections as well. When it comes to trying to make good beats, artists love simple. My top beat on YouTube is just like one super simple piano melody. It's really not that crazy at all. Although there is a lot going on in this loop and there's so many different melody sounds, most of them don't play at the same time. And I only have like a few main things playing at once. So I'll have like chords, a top melody, and like a bass. I won't have like too many other like counter melodies. So for the loop, you definitely want to keep it simple. So we just have like this bass which kind of plays under everything. This is like the first main melody. This is the second main melody, which doesn't play at the same time as the first one. Another counter melody. Another layer for the chords, which doesn't play at the same time as a lot of the other stuff. A new melody which doesn't play with any of those like original melodies. Layer for that. Variation of the horn melody, which doesn't play with these. Another layer, and then the vocals. So for your loops, you can have a lot of different sounds like I have here, but in the actual arrangement of the loop, don't really have too much going on at once. So this is probably the most busy part of the loop because we got the vocals, we got the bass and chords, and then we got the top line. It's a little bit more simple because we just have the chords, bass, and then like a simpler top line. Like it's not like super fast paced like the first one. And over here, it's like the same thing. We're just like the chords. I think there's the bass might not even be in there, and then there's just like a simple melody. Some super common mistakes I see in loop making is overproducing, like I already said, poor mixing, which just comes down to sound selection. I love Analog Lab. I actually even use a lot of stock sounds. They have a good stock piano. In terms of mixing the loop, for the most part, it's just EQs. Give everything its own space. You don't want too many things clashing in the same spot. If there is something that takes up the same space, then pan one of them to the left, pan the other one to the right. Go-to plugin for me is RC20. I just recently got that, and I put that on pianos. It really just fucking sauces it up. I think when it comes to melody mixing, you do need to invest in some plugins. Like for drums, you could really settle for the free and stock stuff, but for melodies, you can't really cheap out on that. Go to some like essentials in the industry seems to be like RC20, Valhalla Vintage Reverb, Decimort 2, which you could use as like a filter, but you could also use it to like distort stuff. This Fresh Air plugin's good, it's free. Halftime, Kickstart 2 to get like that choppy feel. Crush, it's free. Saturation Knob, it's free. Shaper Box for like glitch stuff. Super VHS, this is like a personal preference. I haven't heard too many people talk about it, but it can give it like that kind of like more old-timey feeling, like a little bit warped. So it all depends on what you're going for, but those are some essentials in my opinion. Next thing's going to be the drums. Rule of thumb here, if your melody's a little bit more complex like the one here, you want to keep the drums pretty simple. If the melody's super simple, then you can afford to make the drums super complex, but you'll never go wrong just going simple. These drums don't really have too much going on. Like the super basic 2-step hi-hat, there's no rolls in there at all. Tip here is don't be afraid to just do the basics. I think a lot of producers will like think less of themselves if they're like making a basic beat. Like it doesn't make you any worse of a producer. If anything, artists like this shit more. So you got to think from the artist perspective, not your perspective. Just like the melodies, you have to have good sound selection here. I use a lot of my own sounds. This is from my Metamorphosis Funk X Memphis kit, which you can get in my kit store, link below. And just like a few other sounds like from other producers. This kit was also used in my beat that has over 1 million views, but yeah, just overall super simple patterns. I do have like the snare roll, but for the snare roll, I mute like the 808s and stuff just because like it got too busy. But notice how many sounds there are. 808, kick, this is one sound because it's just the snares. Hi-hat, open hat layer. Another open hat. So there's not too many sounds. You know, people usually have all this plus like a bunch of perks and shit. You don't need all that. If anything, this is actually a lot of sounds. You know, my most popular beat was just 808 kick, snare, hi-hat, open hat. Just like those 5 sounds on repeat. So again, rule of thumb, I would go less sounds, do more in the patterns if you are going to try and like sauce it up. But for the most part, you know, I'm doing a 2-step. If there was less going on in the melody, like my most popular beat, I got a little bit more in the rolls, but I already went over melody mixing. But drum mixing is its own game, and this is what really makes or breaks beats. You can kind of half-ass a melody mix, like it definitely will make the melody a lot worse, but the beat won't be like that bad. But the bad drum mix will ruin everything. So I'm going to show you how I mix my drum. Step 1 is obviously just have some good sounds. I mean, you need good sounds, so got that done. Second thing, I'll just go one by one and kind of show you what I do. So the 808s and the kicks, usually my low end, I'm going to start by putting in mono. It just sounds better that way. Kick and 808 are side chains. So got the kick here, side chain over to the 808, turn this all the way down, go to the 808, go to the limiter, go to compress, and this is the threshold, this is the ratio, that's all you have to touch, and adjust the ratio. I don't go like past this is about where I go every time, and then just adjust the threshold accordingly. This is what it sounds like with nothing, and this is super extreme. So you just gotta find the sweet spot. And sometimes I'll fuck around with this for so long, like I'll change the ratio a little bit, I'll change that, and it just doesn't sound good. If that's the case, just try and use a different sound combination. Not every 808 goes with every kick, not every kick goes with every 808, so you might just have to switch it up a little bit. In terms of where the sounds are hitting, don't be afraid to turn your shit up. Like all of my kicks, like almost in the red, you know, this one's just a little bit lower than what I normally do, but sometimes I'll have my kicks up there, like almost hitting the red. Obviously you can overdo things, but I think more producers are scared to turn it up than more producers turn it up too much. So that's what I do for my low end. For the high end, it's very easy, you know, just I'll EQ some of the shit out. I actually put everything into a bus and just put the same effects on everything, but just EQ out the low end for like the hats, snares, stuff like that. Like we don't really need that. I like this plugin saturation knob. I turn it on very slightly just to like distort the sounds a little bit, make them sound a little bit thicker. And this is the sauce here, fresh air, turn up the high air, just because it gives it that little extra like hit in like the high end. So that's kind of my chain, but my most popular beat, all the sounds are unmixed. This is only a recent thing I've added into my mixing chain. So it all comes down to good sound selection at the end of the day and just making sure your shit's turned up, it's loud. My master is a soft clipper, which a lot of people think that's not what the industry producers do. I'm telling you, the industry producers just use a soft clipper. It's not that deep at all. So that's what I do. Final thing is the arrangement. I think the drums don't need to change that much. Like you can have little breaks in here, but in my experience, in my opinion, the arrangement really comes in the melody. So I got a lot of stuff going on with the melody, especially because this is such a complex loop, but I just have sounds coming in and out. I have like a couple breakdowns here and there with like some sound effects and stuff like that. But overall, it's like, it's a pretty simple arrangement and you don't got to do too much. I have like this weird part at the beginning just because it's a type beat. I always do like a longer or more interesting intro on the type beats, but if it was just a normal beat, I would have started it here and just had like the 8 bars and then drop. So those are the 4 elements of a beat. Like I promised, some little extra tips here and there that have helped me make better beats is to 1, make a playlist on Spotify of inspiration songs. So maybe I'll try and show you mine. This is like my loops inspiration. It's not really like my beats inspiration, but you can see some of these songs and, you know, maybe compare them to my loops. But yeah, I've just kind of put together a playlist when I'm not really sure what to make, or if I just want to listen for reference just to see, like, you know, maybe I'll compare my beat mix to like one of these songs beat mixes. I'll compare the drum patterns, the sound selection, shit like that, just to make sure like I'm on the right track. Like obviously we don't want to copy, but it's good to kind of look at like the people at the top to see like, is our music actually good, you know, just to compare a little bit. Like I've been saying throughout the whole video, less is more. I just want to really drill that into your brain because so many producers just overcomplicate their beats. This is about as complicated as I would make a beat. Like this melody's got a pretty decent amount going on. Another thing to sauce up your drums, do little transitions. These sauce up my beats so much. So like stuff like this where you got like the 808s going, or not the 808s, the snares. And what you could do is you can do like an 808 thing. Those seem to be the 2 most common instruments. Is like you could do like little snare rolls, or you could do like a little 808 roll. So we'll just do one for tutorial's sake. We'll just do like little triplet thing. Doesn't really matter. Something like this. And then, you know, when you do your rolls, you kind of want to just like mute everything else. So we'll just do that. But like that wasn't the best, but it was for tutorial's sake. You know, you could do like little 808 transitions, little snare transitions like that. You could also do delayed drops. Like right here we got 2 bars and then drops. Do that sparingly. I've seen some producers do it too much and it just kind of makes the beat a little weird to listen to, hard to rap on. Which brings me to my next tip, which is to think from the artist perspective. Like, artists like simple beats, you know, I mean, think about it. Like, Drake's the top streaming artist of all time. He has some of the simplest beats of all time, but he also has some of the best beats of all time. Like, his beats are so memorable, but they're also so fucking simple. So just keep that in mind while you're making your beat. Last thing, especially for the type beat guys, is to have something to hook them first thing. You can have like a beat that's like an 8 out of 10, but if it has like a boring intro, artists might click off. You could have a beat that's like a 6 out of 10, but it's interesting, they might actually stay and buy it. So I like this weird breakdown for the intro, but there's so many different things you can do for the intro. Just be creative. For the most part, most beats would just start right here. You know, you get a little 8 bars and then it drops, right? That's so boring. The second the artist hears this, and then I got the visuals like going with it. So like with the pattern of the drum, so like it'll pause here and then it'll like hit like another visual there. Like, that just intrigues the artist so much. They're like, oh shit, this sounds different than everyone else. I'm gonna stay. So yeah, those are just like rapid fire tips of making beats. Obviously, I have like kind of more in-depth videos. I have a whole video on the mixing side of things. I'm gonna do some more videos on the loop side of things, but just wanted to put this together as like an overall like how to make good beats. So hope this helped. Hits in the description below, free stuff and paid stuff. I'll see you guys in the next one.